The World Cup is the biggest sports tournament on the planet, and it's less than a month away.
It is?
Wow.
All right, joining us with his predictions is the Source Magazine's entertainment and sports journalist, Brandon Robinson. All right.
Hello, welcome.
What's
Let's
going
talk
on?
soccer.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, this is the 20th year of the tournament, but why is it such an anticipated event for the entire globe?
It's in Brazil. It's a big deal.
But every year, regardless of where it is, it's always a huge event.
Honestly, the biggest thing is you have so many teams that just match up well. The U.S. even has a great team that's highly competitive. You have Spain, you have the U.S., you have the Netherlands, you have Germany, all these great teams, and don't forget Brazil. So you just have a lot of teams that definitely just are going to bring it this year and do well.
Really?
Yes.
So how big a deal is this exactly? Because it's all my husband can talk about.
I mean,
and he thinks he's going, but you're not going.
And the prices are pretty steep to go if you're still trying to book tickets.
But why is it such a big deal?
Well, for one thing, number one, the South American cities, I checked the stat today. The last few times that there have been World Cups in South American cities,
Yes.
those teams that were the hosting cities, the last 4 times they won. So Brazil has something in their favor, actually. But the bigger thing is just the 20-year anniversary. Brazil hasn't had anything as festive of this kind in a very long time. I think last I checked, it was in 1950. So Brazil's waited a long time to really just host something as big as this. They've been building stadiums. They've just been really setting up shop to make sure that this is a splendid, smooth sailing event.
And the Olympics are coming to Brazil as well, so this is sort of like a pre-test.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So a lot of festivities, a lot of parties, a lot of fun, but the most important thing is the competition, which everybody wants to see some good soccer being played.
Well, speaking of the competition, break down how the actual tournament is played.
Well, you know, there's actually 32 teams that play in the World Cup.
Wow.
And there's a setup where you have different, if you will, different
Like
classes.
brackets?
So it's
Okay.
brackets. Kind of like the NCAA tournament again, where you have the 64 teams, except in World Cup, it's 32 teams that compete. So it starts June 12th, a little less than a month away.
Wow,
And it
that's
runs
really
and it
close.
runs through. You got an extra day, so it's not exactly a month. It ends July 13th, and all these teams compete, and then you have the final round. And my prediction actually is Spain and Brazil.
Spain and Brazil.
Yes.
So
Wait
what
a
will the
minute, what
winner
about
walk away?
Nigeria? Aren't they?
I mean, Nigeria.
But not Spain and Brazil.
But like you said, it's levels, it's brackets.
Level. Okay. All right. They're in the bracket somewhere. So what
It's
will the
levels.
winner walk away with besides bragging rights?
Well, you know, it's interesting because actually in awards money's given, I believe it's actually the FIBA who hosts the event, confirmed that $576 million in awards are
Really?
given to teams that compete.
So over the course of the entire tournament.
If I'm not mistaken, yes.
Wow.
Yes, so I mean,
That's
you
quite a
got a
grip.
lot to play for. Hey, man, Sally Mae could use some of that money right about now.
Sally Mae. I wonder, is there a Portuguese Sally Mae?
Probably.
There's some equivalent, of course.
So you say Spain and Brazil. Who else do you think will make it to the top 5 or the top 10?
Well, you know, I'm impressed with England. They have a guy, Sterling, who's really just been doing really well in his respective team. And with England, he played well for Liverpool, and which is his club team. So, I mean, I like England. I do
Okay.
like Spain. I do like Brazil, like I said. But England and the U.S.
Well, the
Some
U.S. has never won a World Cup.
They have not. They have not. But they've been very competitive in play early on this
really?
season. Just because you know, with the World Cup, it's kind of like the Olympics, where you have all these teams that play for club teams throughout the world, and then they come together and they play and respect their country, kind of like dream teams in basketball. So all those guys have been playing for various Major League Soccer teams locally. And those guys have been competing very well. So when you kind of bring a smorgasbord of guys together to play, I'm impressed with the product that I see on the floor.
All
Okay.
right. Well, Ghana got really far a few years ago. Do you think that they'll make it?
I think they'll do all right,
Okay.
but I don't see them making it with the elite teams, like I mentioned earlier, like Germany, the Netherlands, and the U.S.
What about some of the individual players? Who are some of the people that are going to shine?
I think a lot of guys are going to shine. Like I mentioned, Sterling, the guy that's on the English team. I
Yes.
really like him.
The
He stands
Liverpool
out.
player.
Yes,
Okay.
Liverpool player. There's so many guys on Brazil that
What
really
about
stand out.
Andy Rooney from Manchester United? My husband talks about him all the time. Is he playing? Do you know?
I think he is.
Okay.
I think he is. He's somebody that's definitely just one of those guys that just is even keel. He's one of the
Okay.
guys that's a name. When he gets amongst a bunch of other guys, he's a man. He's maybe, in a sense, no disrespect to him, a boy amongst men. You know, so it's a bunch of guys. It's a bunch of guys that really just make up a team and play well. But no, I'm not coming at him. I'm not coming at him.
Not shade.
But I do think that there's just going to be a lot of competitive soccer that's going to be played this
All
year.
right.
Okay, well, what about any underdogs? Are there any teams or players individually that are underdogs are going to surprise us?
I really, like I said earlier, I think the U.S. to me is the underdog.
You keep saying the
I am. I'm a homer.
See, the
I'm a
problem
homer.
is the U.S. doesn't put as much money and support behind the soccer players as they do
They
football,
don't.
baseball,
Football,
basketball.
because soccer costs more money to play in the U.S. as opposed to maybe a basketball player where all they have to bring is sneakers. For soccer, you need cleats, you need a ball, you have lessons, you have a whole bunch of traveling as well. Basketball or even like baseball. Baseball's like that too. You have to spend a lot of money on equipment like football. But
It's so funny because abroad it's so much cheaper to play soccer than any other sport. All you don't even really need a ball. They've made ball. No, seriously.
you
they
get
really
rocks.
No, people have played barefoot. They'll make balls out of old tape.
The hacky sacks,
Yeah, hacky
yeah.
sack, exactly.
Did you play hacky sack in high school?
No, not
No.
really.
No.
Do we look like hippies to you?
You guys seem cool. So I thought you took the heels off and maybe played a little bit in your downtime.
No
gosh.
hacky sack for
No
me,
hacky
my
sack.
friend.
No hacky sack.
No. But back to soccer.
Yes.
How do you expect the country to do as a host?
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. I think that with the Olympics, the Winter Olympics being in Sochi, he and I were talking before the segment, they actually didn't finish all of the building of stadiums and stuff.
Exactly, and that was a huge problem.
That was a huge
the
deal.
accommodations weren't there. There were just a host of issues.
And I think like Brazil, if I can compare it to abroad or locally, remember when Hurricane Katrina hit here?
Correct.
And in New Orleans, New Orleans really benefited from locally having the NBA All-Star Game twice in their
Okay.
city. So I kind of think that there's a similar comparison in Brazil, where they're a country that could use those type of funds in order to just improve their economy even more.
There could be an economic boom
Definitely.
if handled correctly.
Definitely. I mean,
Okay.
even looking at numbers today,
Yeah.
people who were taking last-minute trips to go to Rio, you would have paid less money, but I was looking at some stats today. You'll be spending at least $3,000
For a ticket.
in order, not just for a ticket. Well, the ticket will be the biggest thing. The ticket will be the biggest thing because $90, I think, was the lowest I saw for a ticket. But the travel, you're going to spend anywhere from $500 to $1,000
Yeah.
to get out
Yeah,
there.
hotel
That's not a
stays.
cheap.
The
it's not a
cheapest
cheap
thing,
trip.
but the cheapest thing is food and partying.
Yeah.
And you have to party while you're there. But there are a lot of people that are concerned they might not be able to party in peace because there's been a lot of violent protests, with regard to all the money being spent towards all these stadiums and not actual jobs and infrastructure that they actually need right now.
Exactly.
So will it be safe for people to travel there?
I think it'll be safe if you don't kind of wander too far out. I think if you
Okay.
stay kind of in the downtown area and the areas that are just sanctioned for people who are visitors, I think you should be good. But Brazil has always had a problem with violence and people kind of coming in and noticing where the tourists are. I would definitely be very aware. What do they say on the New York City subways? Be aware,
see
speak
something,
up.
say
If
something.
you see something, say something. So I think awareness is the biggest thing that you need to worry about when you go to any country, even Brazil.
Yeah, and stay away from the favelas because that's primarily where the violence happens.
Yes.
So people want to go and tour. Let's see where the poor people live, and then
Surely.
you end up getting,
Surely.
getting hurt.
Surely.
So stay in the downtown area for safety.
I would advise that.
All right. Well, let's see. So any more questions?
Yes, he
Shannon?
said
I feel
Spain
good.
or Brazil. I need one or the other. Who's taking home the trophy and the
Well,
money?
That money, that's a big important
Yes.
thing. I mean, like I said earlier, the four homers that were in South America that hosted it, they're the winner. I like Brazil.
Okay, there you have it. You
All
heard it
right.
here first. We'll check out who's the winner, and we're going to get back to you on that.
Thank you, guys.
All
Thanks
right,
for
thank
having
you.
me.
All right.
All right.
And you're watching Arise Entertainment 360.